Hey everybody, it's Angela and I am back with another layout for my nature journal. And as you can see, I've been walking around the farm. I've noticed a lot of mushrooms coming up and a lot of fungus growing on the trees since we've had all this wet weather this winter. And I wanted to, instead of drawing them singly, I wanted to incorporate them into a scene. And so I've just sketched this random tree trunk. It's not meant to represent any particular type of tree. It's just a representation of a tree trunk from my imagination. And the first fungus I'm putting on here is this kind of orange colored one. It was a beautiful pop of color on these kind of dreary winter days. And it's kind of almost fuzzy. It has a really kind of fuzzy texture. And so I'm going to go ahead and draw a few of those. It grew a lot of them kind of flat to the bark of the tree, and then it would have these kind of curly lobes that would come down. And then right below that, you can see I've lightly sketched out another fungus that I saw growing on some dead wood that was still standing. It's a much fleshier kind of a fungus, and there were a lot more of them growing down the tree trunk, and I got some good video of that. Not everything I draw today do I have pictures or video of. I do have pictures that I draw from, but I didn't want to pick anything. I wanted to leave everything in nature just doing what it should do. I also don't know the names of all of these different mushrooms. I do belong to a Facebook group like Pacific Northwest Mushroom Identification Group, and so I may put the picture of these there and see if they can help me identify some of these. And here you can see I'm going in with the shading on this tree trunk, using some greens in there to kind of give the idea of moss growing on the sides and giving the texture of bark. And I'm going to have just two that are kind of growing out of the side. Well, actually three. There's a small one I put kind of towards the ground, and then the others are more like ground growing types of mushrooms, but these were some fungus that I wanted to put on the side of the tree. And so I'm going to go ahead and continue putting a lot of shading in here to give a more realistic appearance. So now I want to start on these other little mushrooms that are coming up between the roots of the tree. And oh, Henry had to make a little cameo appearance there. And these were when they were in the leaf litter, and they were coming up as a really tight bunch. And there were several bunches of them there along the hillside. And they're just kind of a light yellow and white. So if I draw them just like this, you're not going to see them very well. So I do go ahead and put a darker grass kind of below and around them, and that helps to bring them out. Having those dark colors around the outside makes these little mushrooms just pop. And so I'm just going to draw a cluster of them. I do draw two others that are kind of white. You can kind of see them over to the right of my hand there where I've got them lightly sketched in. And those ones are a little harder to see because I don't put grass behind them, so you can kind of see the difference between putting a background around your subject versus just letting your subject stand alone if it's a light colored item. So that was something to consider while I was drawing this and where I wanted to position everything in the scene. And I've just kind of put my grass out there and blocked that in and a few other things, and then I'm just going to keep sketching along. And like my other layouts, I did want to do a little bit of stamping in them. And I have these cute little snail stamps, and I want to put two of those. Now this is the smallest one, and so I put him to the back as perspective and put this larger one to the front. So it would be larger because it's closer. So I want to kind of keep that perspective in mind. And then I will do a little bit of light coloring on those stamps. And then I also put some wording stamps in here, just to keep the continuity between illustration to illustration. And then I'll go back and do journaling about my hikes and hopefully be able to put some mushroom descriptions down as well.